if you have a GPS on his car, which I do not believe you do, I don't believe you're checking the location, or he has told you that's the gym, or damn, what if he goes to the gym and that person is already there and then he gets in her
Yeah, what if
car? Oh my
that's
gosh, the
and takes off the
levels of
trap exactly.
betrayal.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Overanalyzed. My name is Dominic.
And I'm Kyla. Well, speaking of delusional people, let's talk about
Mhm.
Kelsey in Rhode Island.
Now, I saw this in title, and I really hope I don't have to say anything to tell, and you will just know exactly what I'm thinking of when I heard their names.
Sex in the
Schooner.
City.
Thank you.
Schooner
Okay,
and Rebecca.
I could
Charlotte and
always
Trey.
count on you.
I don't think I knew it was spelled
Oh,
like that. But when I
if
read it,
I
I
know.
said Schooner and I was like, Trey. And when he couldn't get it up, or he could only
And you
get it up
couldn't
for big
do.
jugs.
Remember when she's like, when they're trying to think of a name, and she's like, "How about canoe?"
And even he didn't
Like,
like Rebecca. He was like, Rebecca.
okay, so let's get into the episode. Scene one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what we learn, let's give some context, is that Joellen was in Chicago when her grandfather passed away at 100 years old.
I know.
She was very close with her grandfather, so rest in peace, Joellen's
Mm-hmm.
grandfather. And just to put it in perspective of the whole Rhode Island of it all, he was Alicia's former neighbor. It never ceases to remind me every episode how you realize not only how small Rhode Island is, but how tight-knit the people and this group truly are.
Yeah.
We see is the girls go to Alicia's house. Liz and Alicia fill Joellen in on the blow up with Rosie. Liz delivers what is described as a perfect Rosie impression, which was kind of funny, I'm not going to lie. And Alicia says she feels a little bad about calling Rosie a hua whore, but it's a Rhode Island thing and somehow seems to have forgotten that they made up. So are you surprised? And I mean, I know that we're still like learning, or we are understanding these women as our new friends, whether it's you or her when they were on the beach. Were you surprised or shocked at how fast that they made up? And while that's being validated in this scene of like, even they're like, oh, well, that was really fast. Like Alicia, like, can like fix this in a heartbeat.
Yes and no, because I just don't think it was a real forgiveness. I
Fight
think it was like,
or oh,
okay, let's just say
okay,
whatever to move on and get out of here. I think
yeah.
she really hurt Rosie's feelings. I feel like Rosie felt really attacked, not even for all the stuff she was saying, but just like
Mhm.
Cece
Mhm.
came on really hot. I mean,
Mm.
welcome to Rhode Island, bitch. Like, if you remember, and you guys go back and listen to our review of episode 4, Rosie's intention was trying to make it seem like she knew Liz better than Alicia. And I forgot that Joellen wasn't there, though. I felt bad for Joellen. I have not
Yeah.
met either of my grandparents. They both passed before
Mm.
I was born. So I saw that, and she does say that he raised her after her
Yep.
dad passed. So I was like, well, I've had a dad, though. And it is hard to lose a parent. I feel for her. But I thought it was
Yeah.
sweet that
No,
the
I do
girls had
too.
flowers for her and wanted to
Hey, no,
chat.
that was really sweet. Yeah, they're really
The
there for
best
her. And
way to get over grief is to get into the drama. So I loved it.
girl, ain't that the truth? But with that being said, so Liz then tells Joellen that Rulla is visibly struggling and that taking swipes at her is low hanging fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't know about how you totally feel or if your views have changed at all. I don't see it that way personally. I didn't even get that vibe from her even from episode 1. I don't think she has ill intent, and therefore maybe this is an unpopular opinion, especially by the end of this particular episode. If she was truly struggling, and I'm meaning besides like she clearly has said, oh yeah, he cheated on me or whatever, but it's overdone, and now she's seems like to be kind of in attack mode. And I'm talking about Rula.
Mm-hmm.
If she was someone that was like actively grieving, and we saw a tiny bit of vulnerability when her and Liz and Ashley I were at Alicia's house with all her aunts. You kind of saw a little like, okay, like this does seem to affect her, and maybe behind closed doors it is, but she's definitely not appearing on the show where it's like she's being very defensive actually for her
Yeah.
husband. And so, and maybe again, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but from my point of view, like I don't see it as low hanging fruit because it doesn't seem as if she is affected by it in the way that I think as an audience we would hope. Like she'd be like, "Oh my god, like my husband is cheating, and this really hurts, and he still might be doing this." And I'm not seeing that, so therefore I don't consider it low hanging
I
fruit.
I think same. I think unless we see an episode where we find out that Rulla and Joellen hooked up, and so then it would make it seem like Joellen's doing all this to split her up with her guy. But other than that, I don't think she would have a motive to just ruin, or not even ruin, Rulla's life. She has enough stuff going on in her life. I just don't think it matters.
Yeah.
But Liz says something in one of her confessionals that you and I have been saying. Rulla, if you want to be with Brian, just say, that's my man. I'm figuring out what I want to do. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yes.
And then it'll be done. And so when Liz said that, I was like, oh my God, that's Dom's line. Because you literally were like, if that's what you want to do, it's what you want to do. And also, that's the only thing that they can't argue with. They can't come back and say, but why would you? But what if? No.
Yes, exactly. It's like, and think about anyone in your life. Think about like when you have friends, family, whatever, and think about whatever the scandalous thing is, whatever that might be. We'll take cheating here as the example. There is a boundary where it's like, okay, that's just not my business. What do I give a shit? But we're watching a TV show. If someone does come out and say, listen, he cheated before, he may be doing it again. I'm choosing to accept it for what it is and figuring it out. End of story. That really, truly is the only way I think you shut down questions, unless you leave them or whatever. And so I could not agree more with that sentiment, and that still stands. The more that we can just be completely brutally honest with people, and I understand like the counter argument is some people feel like that's no one's business, blah, blah, blah. But when you're on a reality show and the whole point is like your life, and this is the thing, either, I guess, yeah, you do have the choice to defend it if that's what you truly feel. And I think there's maybe a sliver of like devil's advocate that I could play for that. I don't think that's a popular choice, because especially when the counter evidence is pretty damning, especially by the end of this episode. I'm like, this guy is so cringe that I'm like, girl, I don't know what you're doing. Or again, you just be honest, be like, you know what? He may be doing all this, and I'm not going to say it's fine. I'm figuring it out. I'm very well aware.
Yeah.
I don't need any of your input, but thank you. Enough is enough here. I take in your feedback and I will figure it out on my own at this point. I think that is really the only way you shut these things down.
She has to, because I've had conversations like this with friends, and it wasn't to this extreme. Maybe they just didn't like the guy I'm dating.
Mm-hmm.
And it stops being about the guy, and now it's about my judgment. And now it's like, look, you either trust that I know what I'm doing or you don't. Mm-hmm. You have to decide and then let it be. But that's once I've already said, look, I'm choosing to stay.
Yeah.
So now just trust me. So she still has to figure it out. She's kind of like walking the line and just letting Joellen be the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it is entertaining to watch. It's very entertaining to watch.
Of course. Yeah, especially we're not in it. But that's a really good point that you just said.
To be disrespected either.
Right. That's an important part. I didn't even think about this, but you're totally right. It's like, okay, wait, hold on. We're starting to lose focus on the core issues. Like, this guy is doing shitty things, and now we're shifting focus on Rulla's judgment of her. Like, is she in denial? Like, what does she do? Like, when really the focus should be on the guy who's doing the wrongs. But again, that's only because your judgment seems to be coming off kind of shitty. Sorry, but like, and it's all about your approach. There's probably your way of defending, if you will, your marriage, your guy, because you want to claim like, I don't need to defend it for anyone else but yourself. Valid, 100%. Is being okay. It's not saying you're okay with him cheating. It's just saying, understood. I'm taking all this into account. Point, you've given me the information. I don't need any more after this. I think I have enough evidence or whatever. I got it from here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because, and just to cap this off, Joellen thinks that Rulla also needs to be honest and admit she doesn't actually want anyone showing her proof of Brian's affair. And Joellen claims she's empathetic to Rulla's situation, but Liz literally laughs in her face.
Literally laughs in her
which
face.
Is kind of fine. But I kind of do believe, I know that Liz laughed, but I do, and maybe it's her tone, I don't know. I do believe she's empathetic to it. I think maybe it's just like her personality comes off in a certain way where it sounds like she's being a bitch or something, but I really don't think she's intentionally trying to be a bitch by any means. Okay, so then we get to Kelsey's home salon. We do find out that he had that built prior, I guess, to him ever knowing her.
But that is on my dream house list.
Salon,
to have
a
salon and have a stylist come over and do my hair for me. I've been doing my hair since I was 8 years old.
It's like, You are notorious for changing up your hairstyles a lot, so I
And
could
then
see
when
that
I
for
get out
you.
of the chair, you can do my daughter's chair. And for it to be like set up and
Oh,
established, I thought that was so great. But also, it was just a really nice look to her house. I thought it was cute that Ashley came over and got her hair done.
yes,
And this is when
yes.
Kelsey mentions, like, yeah, I'm becoming a working woman. This
Well,
is
that's a bit
my
of a
job. I'm about to
stretch.
do hair and makeup.
Yeah. So, yeah. So to your point, Ashley stops by Kelsey's. Let's be clear, boyfriend's house, which he
Mm-hmm.
declares is big enough to fit two bachelor mansions. Which I was trying to. I don't watch The Bachelor, but I'm like, damn, are they that small, or is this house that big? I don't know which one. So she goes there to get a haircut. Which we find out that Kelsey has done hair and makeup since high school and in pageants. And we also find out, which I didn't expect this, nor do I see it, but it goes to show you. Apparently, she went from waitressing and living with her parents to his mansion. So her doing hair and makeup, I guess, was never a side hustle for her. But now she's trying to make it on her own and she wants to build her brand. Hence why she's having Ashley the influencer, there to do her hair, because I'm assuming she wants her to take pictures of it. Because of that, so when we also learned that Kelsey explains that her beef with Rosie, when she did Rosie's hair, Rosie didn't tag her on social media, even though every other hairstylist Rosie uses gets tagged.
It sounds like the payment for getting your hair done is the images and tagging her.
Which I've heard that before in influencer culture, but
But also, I need you to tell me, don't just assume I'm going to post
thank you.
it. I could not picture Rosie getting her hair or
I
makeup done
can't
by
either.
Kelsey.
I couldn't either.
So I need to, honestly, the pictures would help me
Because
believe it
clearly that was
happened
before the show.
because I cannot imagine this happening. So
Yeah. And it's
honestly,
before the
maybe,
show, before they started filming the show.
yeah.
If they even had like test footage, they would have shown that of like a flashback or something, and they didn't. I am kind of curious of how that even came up.
I need to see an invoice or something. Like maybe before they
Yeah,
were both
a
on the
text
show, she just looked
message,
her up as a makeup artist and was like, "Hey, do my
right? Like,
hair."
is
Because
there
I
a
need to,
text or an email
yeah.
confirming?
Because
Because like
what
it's
would they
not.
talk about?
Well, from the looks of this relationship this far, not much, because it doesn't seem like they really get along.
Hairstylists are yappers. I can't see her being a yapper in that way. Like, you have no idea who's coming in the door. I want to be a fly on the wall to see her doing Kelsey's or Rosie's hair, and I just cannot picture it.
I just don't see her working. I don't get the vibe that she wants to like work. I really don't. And furthermore, being a hairstylist, being on your feet. My best friend owns a salon, has done hair for well over a decade. Loves it. That's his passion. He loves it. He gets such a joy out of it. I don't see her doing like scrubbing scalps, being on your feet 12 hours a day, shampoo, this, that. I don't, I'm just saying, I don't see it, whatever. But
Or the pageant girls, which is
yeah.
still not the same.
So she sees this, her not posting her haircut, hairdo, whatever, as an intentional slight and thinks that Rosie is threatened by her. Ashley declares that her new cut, Instagram worthy, and then unlike Rosie, actually posts about it and does tag Kelsey. I'm not an influencer. Maybe I will try to create content one day, that I've been telling myself for almost a year now, and I still haven't done it. It is so hard being an influencer. I can't imagine like doing it full. You really do need it. Even when I do our videos for Instagram, I'm like, it's not even that much work, but it's like maybe it's the perfectionist in me. You kind of have a certain tone that you have in mind, and like some of these clips that we put, it's like okay, blah blah. Blah. You just want to get it right. You know what I mean? So I can't imagine. Oh my god, they have to like curate all this content, record this and that, and then the whole editing of it all. I'm like, that is so time consuming. But I was gonna say also, and I have not looked at their follower accounts. I know that Ashley's pretty big, and that's very clear because she says it herself. And I'm like, are these some of these women like even at least at the time of filming
Mm-hmm.
prevalent enough? Like if and I'm not saying, and this is not a diss by any means like Rosie, but like hypothetically, are any of you all like have that many followers at that time to like to be this offended? Like, is she really that offended by her not posting and tagging? I can understand maybe to some certain extent how you could be annoyed, like, oh my god, I just did this girl's hair, she doesn't tag me, but she tags everybody else that she does. And I wish they had this conversation, as Ashley is an actual influencer and has experience, I'm sure, in like brand deals or exchanging a service for posting, because she actually has the leverage to do that. It's like I would rather her, Kelsey say, "Okay, girl, like, how does this work? What is the deal here?" You know,
Yeah.
because I'm going to assume that Rosie, in return, with those other people that she has tagged, that was a discussion. It does not seem like this was a discussion, and she just assumed that she would because out of the kindness of her heart. And I'm like, I don't think that's how this works. Now, yeah, does my best friend, when he cuts my hair, I used to post about it all the time, but I don't know if that was so much about him as it was about me. So it's like, this is so dramatic for something that I think is so, like, you're not that close. I don't think either of you, no offense, have the leverage where it's going to make much of a big deal. And it's like, did you even talk about it? Like, it's all very, like, odd to me. I thought it was annoying in this whole episode of, like, her approach to this whole thing.
It is really odd. And posting a shirt that I make is different than me posting that you do my hair. Because even if you're Alicia with 38,000 followers, Kelsey can't do 38,000 people's hair. And you can probably do what? 10 heads a day at max.
Yeah.
And I can't see you having 10 people come to your boyfriend's mansion. And we see later in the episode when Liz comes to help you pack, you're moving out. What are you doing? Like the entire argument
she's very
is
scatterbrained.
stupid.
Yeah, she's very scatterbrained. And I
I'm
don't
watching
get
the
her.
whole thing like, where are you going to wash their hair out of your car? I don't understand what's happening.
Right. Well, it's like, is this a legitimate business that you want to create? Because if that's the case, I'm not going to take that away from you by any means. But like, this seems like all very like hobby to me. I'm not getting like I'm trying to build an empire or like a business out of this. At least that's not coming across from what we're seeing.
No, it looks like a hobby.
As of today,
and you know what happens with hobbies? You change your mind and you do something else.
Yeah, or you become smarter if you want to make them something, and that is going, "Hey, girl, I would like to cut your hair. Here's my intention. What are your thoughts?" That's it. And as of June 2026, Rosie does have 103,000 followers. So I don't know what her follower count was at the time of filming, when the show didn't exist. It just was filming. Those could have been her friends or someone that she knew. Like, again, I tag my best friend when he does my hair. It doesn't mean like he's not getting business out of me. It's just because I'm doing that, because why wouldn't I?
I still believe what you said. I don't think she told her or asked her to
I think that's
it.
a real, yeah.
I think she just assumed that she would. Or maybe they had something on there like, I'm growing my business with Instagram. I don't think she directly said, hey, would you do this?
That's
Ashley's
a good point
getting
too.
her hair done, and she's like, yeah, because I'm about to go on this cruise with Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
They sent her a contract. That was not a, hey, do you mind posting? So,
right, yeah.
I mean, Kelsey, if this is your business...
Be upfront about it.
You need to run it like a business, maybe a little quick contract, maybe a little,
You can't assume anything in life. And I totally agree with what you just said. You need to have a contract, or at least something verbal, like your communication. Like, hey, girl, I want to cut your hair. I'm trying to do this thing. Could you please post about how do you feel about that? I think it's really ignorant and like naive, even as someone that's not an influencer. If I need a service from you, I want a coffee shop one day, do you mind posting it? Like, that's how I'm not going to invite you over. I'm like, okay, I made this. I hope she posts about it. Like, I'm not like, that's weird to think that you just assume like, I hope they're going to post or not. Like, that's not how this shit works.
Because you could be someone like me who posts 12 times a day on 7 different platforms, but does not consume social media.
What, that part too?
And I have my own scripts written in Google documents, and I copy and paste it, and I put them up to new videos.
And even
I would not see your stuff. Yeah.
Or here's the alternative. And I feel like you are this kind of girl too. It's maybe you have a reputation like, oh, Kyla posts a lot, blah, blah, blah. But if you take video, I mean, I think more often, and correct me if I'm wrong here, more often than not, if you are filming something, you're taking pictures of something, I think you are going to find a way to use that, because you don't want to waste like that time and energy. However, correct me if I'm wrong, if you then review it and you think, I'm not using this shit, I don't care, you're not going to use it.
Correct, unless I have a contract from someone saying you have to.
I don't care anymore. All the more reason to have a verbal conversation at the minimum of like, okay, I know Kyla posts a lot. She probably will take pictures of this coffee that I'm making for her. But there's a possibility after she looks at it, she might not want to post it.
Shoulds and woulds.
Let's be honest. As of June 2026, this Kelsey chick only has 90.8 thousand followers. I can't remember if you said that or not. If I was trying to start something, again, I'll use my coffee as my example because that's what I know. My first and foremost focus is making my own fucking content. I don't know if she's doing that. I just did a light look at her Instagram, and yeah, I see like some
Does her
things, but
bio say hairstylist?
it says nope. It says Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Miss Rhode Island USA 2017. Oh well, there is a link to her Miss makeup. It looks like it's her makeup account that only has 8,547 followers.
Mm-hmm.
She has had her first post was on February 13th, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like all like photos of hair she's done. You should be taking pictures, at least from the hair perspective, at least in my experience, in terms of, again, my best friend owns a salon, does hair. He's always done hair. I would argue probably first and foremost, you should be taking these photos and tagging that person and they could repost it. So I think there's a lot of loose ends to this story that I think are just like, I think you need to figure out how this works. And guess what? It's interesting. You have an influence in your chair. Maybe you could ask her how this works.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so speaking of Rosie then invites all the ladies to celebrate her friend Jack and his husband Anthony are part of Rosie's social circle, and she describes it as her gay circle. We're talking a lot about gay things. Thank God it's Pride Month. Most of the other women know Jack as well. Rulla jokes on her arrival that if Joellen tries to mess with her on the boat, she better be a good swimmer. And Newport waters are cold.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the first time Rulla is seeing Joellen in a minute.
Yeah, party.
And they're just keeping their distance, and Joellen kind of acknowledges that, which I think is safe because I think, funny enough, about this whole little boat trip, at least it wasn't shown if there was anything, is not about Joellen and Rulla whatsoever, actually. I think when Rulla came, she did say hi to her, but that was the extent of their interaction, it looked like. Funny enough, there is a guy at this party. It was the one where when Kelsey and Rosie are fighting and they go to Alicia and she's talking to Joelle and she's like, let's play a game. Do you remember that little scene?
Mm-mm.
Do you remember them talking? They were their own little area.
Yeah.
Alicia and Joelle. Okay. So there was a gay guy with them and they showed him talking a little bit. Nothing major. He was on a past episode of the Real Housewives of New York when they went to Newport, Rhode Island, and he was just in the back at a restaurant. He wasn't there for them. He was just like happened to be there. And they panned to him because the women were fighting also in this. And he was like drinking a martini or something. And the camera just randomly flashed at him because he was like watching.
Yeah.
It was the same guy. Isn't that funny?
Interesting.
So then on the boat, Rosie feels like she's getting punched in the face every time she hangs out with this group. She thinks that she's been nothing but nice and that these girls are mean girls and dislike her no matter what.
Kelsey just jumps right at her. I mean, people are just sitting there and Kelsey is just...
Yeah, I was going to say, then Kelsey sits down next to her and brings up the haircut issue directly. So...
She moves over to her, but
she moves over to her because Dolores sat down first and was trying to talk to them. And she was like, are you interrupting? Because it was just Ashley and Rosie talking. Because this boat, at least as of right now, does seem not as cohesive.
Yeah, it's pretty tense. Yeah.
And which is funny because I'm like, well, Rosie invited you all here, and it doesn't seem as if, at least it didn't appear that they were all, kumbaya. Which I'm like, even if I have a problem with the person that invited me here, I'm gonna be warm to them because you invited me here, not be a bitch to you. Rosie fires back that Kelsey's manufacturing a problem over an Instagram tag and that it wasn't her job to photograph the back of her own head. I thought that was so funny. And I agree with Team Rosie on this whole argument. I think Rosie is probably like, this is so fucking stupid that you're even coming at me with this, and I could not agree more.
And that you're mad about it and then talking about it with all these other people. Because, like, even Alicia or somebody says, okay, how do we clean this up? Can she tag you again? Can she do it?
Right, yes.
And Rosie makes it seem like, I don't have a picture of it. I didn't, like, there's nothing to clean up.
Yeah.
And what Rosie is not saying is, hey, come over and let me do your hair again. Or, hey, let's do a second try. Or whatever. So, like, the point, everybody knows, the argument is never about the argument. The argument is, I'm starting a business and it doesn't look like you're supporting me. That's the whole thing. It's not even about the Instagram post because, I mean, to be fair, put it on TikTok now.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not about that, but they can't get to the root of that for a while.
Well, I don't think there really is because there's no substance to this. And I think Rosie is like, this is so stupid. And Kelsey's making something out of nothing. You know, Ashley's like, how can we fix this? Kelsey could have easily said, could we try again? Or it could have been simply like this, like, you know, Rosie, it really hurt my feelings because I'm trying to build this business or whatever. That you didn't tag me, you tagged everybody else. That kind of hurt a little bit. And those are just my feelings. And maybe they could have a discussion, but because she came at her so hard, and I mean, Rosie was a little vulnerable to begin with, and I can kind of see it. I feel like she does get kind of this underlying judgment feeling from the other women. Like I don't know, even though they talked or whatever, but even though she had an issue with Joellen, like I don't know, like I feel like she's not well received still.
Well, remember,
so she's pretty sensitive.
Episode 4, she just argued with Alicia, like probably yesterday.
Yeah, and then she's inviting on her on this
boat. So now we're stuck on this boat. We can't leave.
So she's on the defense, rightfully so, quite frankly.
And I did feel the tension on the boat. And Rosie even says in like the introduction part to her party, she's like, a lot of the ladies know Jack and his husband. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's why they came. They didn't come for you, right? And so I think that's why they're not they're not like overly grateful that she's like, oh, thanks for inviting us.
Yeah.
I think they're like, yeah, Jack told us to. Oh, okay, we'll go.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did think it was funny when Alicia and Joellen, they're like at I don't know what the front of the boat, I don't know what the stern or the bow is. I don't know which one is, but they kind of did that like Titanic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joellen's like, I don't know how to get down. And she's like, don't worry about it. Just take this all in. And no, it was actually really cute and funny.
Alicia's so funny.
Alicia she is so funny. It's such a shame that she's MAGA. Okay, and then we do see quickly that Liz and her husband Gary say farewell to their boat Gypsy. When Jerry took up sport fishing, he had zero experience, but he became one of the best in the world and once beat Michael Jordan in a tournament.
I love this cast. I was like, where did that come from?
But did you see when they're like sitting and they had like those billboard or poster board checks? And one said like $500,000, more than that, but
for boats.
And I'm just like, I don't know anything about.
That's a rich sport.
But I didn't know you can make. Ignorantly, I didn't know you could make money from it. And I sure as hell wouldn't have assumed like you make $500,000. I guess I don't understand like who.
So look, you got to have the boat. You have to have a crew that maintains the boat. You have to know how to.
Yeah, that's a good
pilot
point.
The boat, whatever, be the captain of the boat, travel for these things. Yeah, okay, I'm going for
taxes.
You got to remember the last couple episodes, or especially when we get introduced to Dino, and she's like, Gary goes away for 4 months. Oh, to come back with a $500,000 check? Yeah, bye, Gary. Go have fun. Oh, to meet Michael Jordan? Bye. Oh, your life's so hard. But what is? Like, come on, Liz. Come on.
My biggest. Again, I don't even know what the thing is. Like, I was stunned, I guess.
I love this cast.
Like, I didn't realize, like, also, like, where's this money coming? Like, what pool of money is this coming? Like, who's giving it? And B, like, what is I don't even know how to ask it.
What's the qualification? What's the contest? Maybe he won for the biggest boat in his class.
You know what I mean?
Right, because how do you do that? Is it who got the most fish?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is the guidelines here? How do you win this? Like, what did I earn?
And how do I join?
Yeah, I would. I hate fishing. It makes me so depressed when I see it.
I don't like fishing because you have to be quiet. I remember I tried to go fishing once.
I love that. That's the.
Because if you're talking, they can hear like the vibrations on the water. And so I was like, fine, I'll flip through a magazine. They're like, can you flip slower? And I'm like, get me the fuck off this boat. So sports fishing might be a little bit rowdier, a little bit louder. I will tell you, I went fishing once when I was a little boy. One of our trips to Alaska. We used to go to, for people who don't know, I grew up in New York. We used to go to Alaska 2 weeks out of the year because my mom's side of the family lived there. I ended up moving there later on, not by choice because I was still in school. But when I was a little boy, one of our vacations there, I went fishing. And I will tell you, I will never forget. And I had my pole, and there's a picture of me somewhere, like I'm holding it. And it's like, okay, cute little boy with a fishing pole, nothing serious.
But I remember the first time that I saw, not me, family member, I don't know which one, pull the fish out. And I just remember watching it like struggle because it's dying.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that. And I felt such sadness. And I'm like, wait. And I watched it die. And I can't remember, I think I asked, or like when I started to understand basically what was happening, my little boy heart broke into so many. I was like, never fucking bring me on a fishing. I will go on a boat for relaxation, whatever. I never want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
It makes me so sad.
People are monsters. People that eat meat, and I do eat meat.
I wish I
My
didn't. I no longer eat red meat because I think cows are highly sensitive and very
I know.
intelligent. I do eat turkey and chicken, and
But you know what's fucked up about that? When people have farms and they're like, "Oh, but we killed them in a humane way." Even to equate what they're going through to
I
what
know
we would deal with is so like colonizer bullshit. But
that's a good point. Yeah, you're right.
I would love to do an Alaskan cruise from Seattle to Alaska, but during the time when the salmon are swimming upstream, because I would love to see them jumping out of the water. I would love to see it. It's like one of my favorite things ever.
So,
You did
you
one
know,
of those cruises?
no, because I lived there.
You're like, no, I skipped all of that. Yeah.
Which is so funny because the amount of times people have had conversations with me, not knowing that I'm from Alaska, lived in Alaska, whatever, for many years, graduated high school in Alaska. My parents still live in Alaska. I don't want to say I'm immune to the Alaska of it all. I'm not by any means, but I kind of am at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Northern lights and mountains, this like all these wondrous things. And I'm just like, oh yeah, yeah. Like I'm very blasé about it. And I'm like, I'll be a little biased. Is uniquely one of the most, if not the most beautiful state in our country, and certainly one of the most beautiful lands in North America and the world. I mean, it's glorious, and it's like, oh god, it makes me cringe now when I think about all the things that they're trying to do of like, just like they are doing in other parts of our country and the world of like this, harming the environment. That I guess to some extent I am kind of like,
Yeah.
you should see it. And then speaking of fish, I did just quickly do a search about how this fishing tournament, whatever, works. And they said the biggest earners usually combine several income streams, but tournament fishing is professional anglers compete at events run by organizations like Major League Fishing and Bass, BASS.
Major League Fishing is a thing?
I guess so.
As opposed to minor league or amateur fisher.
It is kind of funny, isn't it?
What are you trying to catch? A shark? I don't understand. Do you know the first time? Because I love to watch restaurant movies or restaurant shows, and then we'll move on. But tunas are big as shit.
Yeah,
have you ever seen someone cut it? I was like,
I've seen like
I'm
pictures
watching
of them.
something, and they pulled. It was half of a tuna, and they were like, "Yeah, we're about to prepare this for steaks." And I was like, "But it comes in a little tiny pouch." I was like, "That's like it's like a pinky of it." I was like, "Tunas are massive."
They are. I've
No
seen
wonder
pictures
it became
online.
such big business. Yeah,
I also don't like, which this is consistent because I never would want to see, which is, well, okay.
You don't watch butcher videos. Yeah.
I don't. But
sense.
especially, like, I can't stand, like, when people, like, on, like, Food Network, and it's so normalized, and then, like, I don't know what that, I can't remember the term is, but, like, slicing fish and all that, filleting them.
Some shows don't show it because, like, we don't want you to not watch our show because we're showing that. And so some channels actually will not show. It's like, I wouldn't want to see a person be dismembered. So,
okay, I wasn't going to go that far.
I'm just saying.
I was simply gonna say, like, you don't watch the slaughterhouses on TV for cows and stuff, like, you know what I mean? So, like, why is this any different? Like, I don't.
They're being more conscious of that now.
I hope so, but I don't like to see any of it. It makes me really depressed. So then we move on to Rulla and Joellen meet up privately. So Joellen insists to Rulla that the affair with Brian is still ongoing, but Rulla refuses to believe it. Rulla says that she's not in denial, but she wants to be wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and to know all the truth if someone's pulling the wool over her eyes. I disagree.
Lies.
I was going to say,
lies.
I appreciate you saying that, but your actions say everything but.
Why did she even show up? What else would you two have to talk about?
Can I ask you a question about Rulla? Because since you're so good with hair, is her hair real or is that a wig?
No, it's a wig. But
Okay, I don't want to be disrespectful, and I have
it's not
not
her
seen this on
hair.
any comment section or anything because I look at her hairline a lot and from the back, and I'm like,
Here's the
I.
thing. I noticed it as well, and I've made a comment before about her hair when Joellen mentioned something about it. But
Mhm,
she has a really small frame that almost
she
looks
does.
unhealthy. I'm not sure she voluntarily wears wigs.
Yeah, I'm not.
And I mean, the point of us, we've always said this with overanalyzers, we're not like judgmental about people's looks and
No,
stuff.
these are just
And so when I
observations.
do say things like that, I'm always like, "Oh, that was real shitty." But sometimes her wig is like crooked, and you're just like, come on.
Well, I noticed it more so in the scene when they like pan in the back and they see the back of her hair. I know nothing about hair to make this kind of judgment call. When I say judgment call, I don't mean like I'm judging her. I just mean like what I'm visually seeing. But there's something about it that looked like it lacked some sort of volume of like when you see long hair and the way it flows in the back. There's a different volume architecture, if you will, of the look. Hers just looks like almost if you have a single
Tracks.
tracks of hair. Yeah, thank you. And it just laying down. It just looked like it just you plopped like an Amazon wig would look when you put on your head, which I've had several, by the way. All lace fronts, mind you, but they were synthetic hair. So maybe she mixes her real hair. Like Kim Zolciak did this on the Real Housewives
Like
of
a leave
Atlanta. I don't know if
out.
you remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like her bangs were her hair. I couldn't figure it out, but I had to ask you. I was like, do you her
And
hair?
Rosie
'Cause,
wears wigs. When she has the bangs, that's a wig.
um,
So
and that's how you do
why
it
do you
good.
have multiple lace front wigs?
I don't anymore, and I miss them. Well, I have one that's kind of shitty. But I used to take my Halloween costumes very seriously. I mean, I'm never gonna spend like hundreds of dollars on a wig.
I love that for
But
you.
I had beautiful long blonde wigs when I was Britney Spears for in her Toxic video. I made all my costumes. And I'm not saying these were like, but like one step up a bit amateur. But I love doing it. Like I bought a body stocking that was nude colored, and I studied her toxic nudity picture as much as you can to place all the and hot glued every single jewel onto it.
Wow.
I've been Shania Twain in the "Man, I Feel Like a Woman" video.
I need pictures
Katy
of all of
Perry
this.
from California Girls.
You got a whole side career as a costume designer.
You know, I
You're so
probably
talented.
in some universe, if I had to be completely honest with you, I probably could have done something with if I. It's one of those things like when I was supposed to go to interior design school, I did apply, I did get in, but my parents like we can't afford that, so it never came to fruition. But it makes me wonder, like, if I did, what could have
That's
happened with that?
funny because I almost asked you earlier this week if you would ever be like a personal shopper and then you can like spend other people's money. And I guess interior design is kind of like that too. Wow. So it's enough of the essence of the outfit that people would know who you were, which is the point.
Yes.
It's like an homage. It's
Wait,
not terrible though. I love.
I made that. That's a California or teenage
Mm-hmm.
dream. No, California girls. It was for Halloween, but I genuinely enjoyed it. I'm like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And
That's how we feel about episode 5. I was like, how did they stretch this out for 45 minutes? I was watching it and I was just like, this episode is so
that's
dry.
hilarious. Okay, so then we
That
move
was a fun
on
segue.
to a really. And speaking of cutting,
No, I'm
that's
keeping all that. That was good.
so Rulla also
Mm-hmm.
says that she tracks Brian's location and they spend every night together. Joellen counters that, which this is hilarious, that he supposedly visits the other woman every morning and brings her coffee. And Rulla says he goes to the gym every morning. Joellen responds with, I think it's a shady comment, which I thought was, I literally like spit up my
It
drink.
was.
And she said, does Brian look like he goes to the gym? And she's like, yeah, he does.
I
I'm like,
mean,
whatever.
ma'am, if you have a GPS on his car, which I do not believe you do, or you have multiple vehicles and he has it on the other one,
Yeah.
if you do, I don't believe you're checking the location, or he has told you that's the gym, or damn, what if he goes to the gym and that person is already there and then he gets in her
Yeah. What if
car.
he like, yeah.
Oh my
That's,
gosh, the
and takes off the
levels of
trap. Exactly.
betrayal if this is true. But also, Dom, you and I have talked about cheating, and it may have been on one of the Rhode Island episodes. If you have to track the location, sweetie,
Yeah,
How are
you're
you
far
gonna
gone.
how are you gonna explain this to your kids when they're dating and they think someone is cheating? And it's, well, just track the
Yeah.
location. I already have the information. Ma'am,
Yeah, you're far gone.
come on.
You're far gone.
It
One
broke
thing
my
I'll
heart.
no, I didn't care. Because and I would have if I saw more like sadness in her eyes or something.
I think she has like Stockholm syndrome.
I think so
I'm not a
too.
doctor, so I cannot
But whatever
diagnose
the
someone, but
equivalent,
where you're like in love with your captor.
yeah. Yes.
Either that or he's like gaslighting her so bad. Let's jump to Polo. When they try to talk to her and then he comes around like he wants to get his story out first. And even when he's standing there talking to Joellen's husband,
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm trying to wind things up. You know how it is.
Mhm.
He is spinning this whole thing. I think he is
Oh my god,
probably a
he's
habitual
trying
liar and he probably
100%.
should lose his license because I was like,
What
you're a
else is he
medical
lying about?
professional? Well, here's the thing. The way that he shows up where he's like, I have to get in her ear first, they're gonna try to poison the well is so unfair. And it
Yeah.
looked really disgusting. Like, I don't like gaslighting. I can't even read. Gaslighting is its own section of like suspense books because it
Mhm.
can really get dark. And I did not like it. It looked very manipulative. And I hope someone she loves watches the show and they can see it because I don't think she can
Mhm.
see it. But it was just very, very, you're in an abusive relationship and he is making sure
Mhm.
his story is louder and he will not let you be with people on your own. Like, first of all,
Yeah.
I was surprised he showed up. And then as soon as he said my mom is sick, I was like, he's going to see the other lady. And Rulla's like, I'll go with
Mhm.
you, which I was like, I don't think that was her being a good wife. I think she's trying to trail you and make sure.
Mhm.
And then he still left her to go somewhere else on his own. Because I bet you we're going to find out that she's not close to his family to even text his mom and be like, hope you're feeling better. She's going to be like, what do you mean? I'm gardening.
Mhm.
Right? Like, I was infuriated
I was
because
too.
it's emotional abuse and it's so not fair. And I think
Mhm.
not even I think he knows, and he knows that she is so far gone.
I don't know if they're even that smart. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. One
He
thing I
would
will
have to be
say,
to set all this up.
not very. He's not doing it very well.
He could cheat in a very flippant, easy way. He's going around and about
Yeah.
really
I'll
gross.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a
Yeah.
second. Because one thing I just
Okay.
wanted to say before we totally move on, but I wanted to say this because I'm agree to an extension of what your point is,
Yeah.
of like tracking people and like, honey, you're so far gone. When she said when Joanne shows her the text messages and she says and she dismisses them as AI generated text, this is what I mean of like it triggers that like thing. I don't even think it's denial. It's like again, I hate that I keep bringing it always to this, but it's prevalent. It's like I think of all these like MAGA Republican type people that just cannot fake news. That's fake news. That's not real. And I'm like, is this what? This cannot be the direction we're all going into when we just see something that we simply don't like and we just say that's not real. That can't be. That's AI. I
Mm-hmm.
like to think that out of those people that continuously deny the things that are so factual, and we deliver like we all. It used to be a time like okay, you're saying this outlandish thing, proof. We give you proof, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe this. Now we're just blaming everything on fake news and AI, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, which to be fair, I get it to a certain extent. If you feeling a certain type of way, you watch one thing, you're gonna believe it. Same thing with AI. It's like everything looks so fucking real now that it's like, oh my god, you question everything. So I'm not gonna say I don't fully understand it, but when you put the whole pie together and you hear like your excuse, you need to start doing some deep self reflection and understanding like why is it you have an answer for everything. Me as the partner
Gotcha.
in this thing, I would go, you know what? There's not a he has an excuse for everything, and that is some shady ass shit. Rather than going, fuck, that does sound like really weird. I got a flat tire and then I had to walk across the street and like, when you have all these like answers for shit, it doesn't matter who it's coming from. I'm like, you question everything because life doesn't always have answers because quite frankly when you're caught in a lie you are caught in a lie. So she needs to do some soul searching and deep
Yeah,
self-reflection.
she does. It's crazy to watch.
It's something. Okay, so we'll end this episode to the polo match as you mentioned. So the ladies minus Ashley because she's on her sponsor cruise take a party bus to a polo match. They all meet at Angelo's, which is Alicia's husband Billy's restaurant. All the ladies come with their spouses, minus Rosie's, who will meet them there. But this is kind of what you're alluding to. So just before they board the bus, Brian receives a call that his mom is in the hospital, and Joellen initially offers prayers once, they're on the bus and they say that, which I thought was very nice. But mid-ride, she gets a text from a mutual friend claiming Brian actually went to the mistress's house instead, and Joellen immediately believes it. Liz is skeptical, and Alicia is riding the energy, repeatedly declaring, "I love a horse," which is very hurt. I agree with you. When he got that phone call, whether it's the mistress covering up something, I heard in an interview with someone that's on the show, Dolores, and she said apparently what they think happened was he was attending to the mistress, but because she was going to try to intervene at the polo match, was what it sounds like. Like she was going to come. So this was him
So
going
it's probably
there
an
to
ultimatum. If you
something.
don't get here now, I'm
Yeah,
showing
and something,
up.
and apparently the mother never went to the hospital.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I heard
I'm not
that
shocked
too.
by it. I would have been shocked if she went, because you know what? I was watching and I was like, I need to see a hospital bracelet picture
And
at
I
the
guess she never went.
reunion. I was like, I need to see it.
And she never went. So when they're on the bus and they call her, Rulla isn't even with Brian. She's just like at the house or whatever. And it's like, well, that's weird too. It's like, okay, hold on. You're married, you got a spouse. So correct me if I'm wrong here. But if you're going out and you're doing a little event and then Theo gets a call, but she's in the hospital or whatever, I have to imagine, you're going to stay by his side where,
It's going to be upset. And I think that's why he was trying to come up with all those bullshit excuses of, it doesn't hurt, but she feels uncomfortable. And my dad says this. That's someone who doesn't have all the answers, which enforces Dolores' story that this is not, that this was an ultimatum, because he doesn't have this whole thing planned. And I mean, we haven't seen him a lot, but when she gets out the car and he's there, I'm like, he's not staying. I knew off rip.
Oh my God, yeah.
I knew that I knew. That's a really good point that you brought up, because his face is not showing the correct emotion. Because the first thing I would say is, Dad, what are you talking about? Okay, cool. I'm coming after the match. Her leg's not broken. She sprained her wrist. I can't do anything about that. Mom, you know the polo matches today. It's only once a year. We'll see you after, right? Or send me pictures or tell me the room, right? It's not, she didn't have a stroke. Super urgent. We're running right now. So even his face was very much so given. You can tell he's receiving information. Okay. Like it was a freaking ransom note or something. You can tell that he was processing.
Or they have code words, and she's saying the code word on the line. He's figuring out, okay, how do I respond?
Which is not crazy, like, too obvious. Because
something,
Joellen says it at the end. You clearly want to be with that person. And it wasn't until Joellen says it to the group after she's like, he wants her to leave him. So I'm like, damn, what kind of a prenup do they have? It's a very interesting thing that he wouldn't choose to leave on his own. He specifically wants her to do it, which I think feeds into the emotional abuse of it all, where he's like, you don't want to be divorced again. I'm going to make you be the one to leave.
They just opened themselves up for a slew of questions.
Why do you go on TV when you're doing this?
We are so far beyond that question. And I'm saying that because that has come up in so many.
Cheat. Just be open, but don't come on TV.
Or just leave. Right. Well, so many times have housewives come on these shows that have not paid their tax bills in several years, or like they did this and that, or I leave. It's like, you knew coming. Jen Shaw, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, she's doing all that illegal activity. It's like, and you thought like coming on a reality show, knowing that you'd been doing all this shit, was like the wisest. That question I no longer even try to think about, because I'm like, I don't even know what people think anymore. I don't think they see it. I think you get to a certain point. We see it with like people in politics, right? They get a little touch of power and they think they're, untouchable, and sometimes they are, and then oftentimes they're not.
Maybe he asked her to come on the show, like Kelsey Grammer and Camille Grammer.
Someone else. I listened to another podcast, said something similar. Like maybe this is going to be like a Camille Grammer situation. However, Camille Grammer genuinely looked hurt when Kelsey Grammer left her. I don't call it a prediction. I don't know. I don't think we're going to get. I know there was in the mid-season trailer that we got. There was like a scene that she's like on the floor, and they're like, "Oh my God, Rulla, what you're going to do?" And then it like ends. That it looked, maybe that is more emotional, But as of right now, like I'm not seeing it, so that tells me I think she's in on whatever this is. It's just the whys behind it are, kind of a question.
And I certainly know
Um,
people in open relationships, but typically the line is like, don't embarrass us. And he has
right. Yeah.
hurdled over that line, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So now let me say this. I could care less about a wedding
Yeah.
ring. I could care less about a wedding ring. You don't have to give off energy of being a single person without your ring on,
Hmm.
but you also can give off the energy of being a single person with your ring on too, right? Like a ring can draw a lot of eyes. People see you and they
Hmm.
either think, wow, you know how to commit to someone that's attractive, or they see you and say, you don't have all the time and I don't have it either, right? You not having it when you had it 2 hours ago is fucked up.
Hmm. And they're
For
horrible.
that,
They're horrible
she's like,
actors.
well, he wears a rubber one when he's working, but he's not doing
Again, another
surgery here.
excuse.
And
Another
I'm just like,
excuse.
because he said that to her before, babe, you know why I don't have it? You know, I had that surgery 4 hours ago. I can't keep that on. Well, then get it tattooed on your finger like Beyonce and Jay-Z. I don't like, ma'am, ma'am.
Okay, playing not devil's advocate, but playing like thinking about like, okay,
Just overanalyzing.
if you're in it, if I'm in it, let's say, and
Mhm.
whether maybe I'm trying to cover it up, maybe I'm embarrassed, maybe we're trying to figure it out, any one of those. But say I'm in another way to disengage from this conversation. Let's say if I go, where's your ring? Like you motherfucker, you better put that on when we get home. Like bringing almost like a lightness to it, even I would say, or a joke, or
Yes.
everything, but like the defiant and defensiveness of it all, an excuse of it all. These two are horrible actors. When he got that call in the restaurant, and they pan to her, and she's like, and she looks at him, and he goes
Pretending
and
to
tells
not be listening,
her,
but listening. Yeah.
right, and then he gets off the phone, and she's like, what's going on? My dad called. My mom's in the hospital. Oh my god,
He could hear
that
the
is the
voice. It was
worst.
not a male voice.
It
Yeah.
was just, it was horrible, horrible acting. I know we all process emotion of all sorts in different ways. Totally understand that. However, there are like common denominators of like shock, emotion, vulnerable, sadness. Like what he said was not like a positive. And it was just like, she was like, what happened? Oh no. It lacked any type of emotion of any kind. It was just like, okay, I have to.
Yeah.
He got the call. Okay, now I have to say this. No, I'm not. Which would make it weird because it's like you were expecting that, and I do think she was in on like. I think she knows that he's fucking around. Maybe her religion and background dictates her trying to figure it out because she's been divorced once before. She can't certainly do it again, and they might have an agreement where he's being really sloppy about it and she's getting really pissed off because now she's on a TV show. I don't know what the theory is. I can wear my tinfoil hat all day long and kind of come up with many different excuses. I think she knows what's going on. The
Mm-hmm.
reasoning, I'm not sure. She will have to hopefully answer to that at the reunion. Kelsey tries on Rulla's enormous engagement ring to show Bill. Kelsey does bring her boyfriend, not rich one, but unrich one. That was not nice. And then notices Brian isn't wearing his wedding ring, like you mentioned. That's a red flag. He claims he left it in the car and goes to retrieve it. And then just then, Joellen sees that the alleged mistress posted on her Instagram story holding hands with Brian in the car. And that's enough for Liz to finally get on board. So now we have Liz activated. Joe Allen constructs an elaborate timestamp timeline of how Brian could have been snuck away to see the other women. I have to say, I was obsessed with that.
Mm-hmm.
Of her like Dateline forensic files, like
It was good.
persona. I was like,
Yes.
you go, girl. I'm like, I'm on your side here. I'm riding with you. Brian confronted and admits to Gary that the individual, in quotes, had been texting him all day. Liz grabs Rulla and tries to mediate, but Brian refuses to discuss it on camera and starts removing his mic. I'm like, you were such a pussy. And then Brian denies fleeing while doing exactly that. So he's literally like trying to deny
He's
the thing that
like
he's actually
running.
doing.
I think
And I'm
he would
like,
have
you are
left Rula
so.
if he was like, you can get home,
Well,
right?
I think so too. He is so
If
stupid.
you notice, she does not look happy. I don't even think they touch. There is no, my man and I. Like, she just looks captive.
Yeah, it's actually a perfect word because there's
That
no
makes me
like love.
sad.
There, there doesn't look like there's any love there. I totally agree with that. So then Joellen holds firm, saying that she's coming to Rulla as a fellow mother and wife. She fires back when Brian accuses her of perpetuating the situation, and she's just showing what was publicly posted on Instagram. I cannot emphasize that enough because that's what she's always said. She's not like digging, it is out there. She's either given the information or it's on social media, which is why this is so annoying on
Yeah.
Rulla's side. I'm like, girl, this lady is posting it, whether it's a year ago or yesterday. Like, she's at least perpetuating a narrative that you need to take back that narrative, and all you do is come up with something to say to everything that's in defense of your shitty husband, rather than going, this looks, you know what, this does look bad. You know, I'm gonna figure it out because I don't like
And
this.
yeah, kudos to me. I'm becoming a true Housewives fan because I said a couple episodes ago, Joellen may be sharing it, but I bet you she follows the mistress. And we find out she
Sure
does.
does. She sure does. I love her.
And we can't say that those are AI because Rulla, you could follow her too, and then you can see all this stuff.
And you can
So,
see it. Yeah.
I mean, okay, just to pretend to be rational, she's posting, she's possibly giving some ultimatum. Rulla, you said you tracked his car, so where did he go when he left you at the house? What is Rulla doing? I don't
Well, that's the
know.
question. What is she doing? I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anybody knows. If I had to take a guess based upon what we know, I think maybe it's her religious and cultural background that dictates like how she
Yeah.
maneuvers through. That's what that tells me. For him, if I had to put my money on something, he fucked around. She found out. He continued to fuck around. Maybe they have a prenup of some sort. Like maybe she makes more money than him. I don't know. Maybe she has more in the bank than him. I don't know. I think they have kids, and that adds a whole nother layer to things. That I don't think it's so cut and dry for them for whatever
Yeah.
reason to just be like, okay, you know, let's get divorced. It's not working. I think it's more complicated based upon whatever conversations they have in their own personal lives. I'm changing my theory a tiny bit. I don't think she wants to get divorced because, again, her cultural background. I think maybe he does want to, and he knows that she ain't signing anything to get divorced, and maybe this is him intentionally looking bad. Like,
But I
okay,
don't
fine.
even think maybe it started as fucking around. But I feel like he's in a full on relationship. He doesn't want to
That's what I mean.
disrespect her so much that he takes his ring off when he goes to see her. She knows he's with someone else. I can't. He probably even just leaves his phone in the car. So there's like nothing that you track. Like he is in a full on like
Or maybe they have an arrangement.
relationship.
I don't see her as an emotional girl. I think she's very a business type of. I think she looks at her marriage as a business at this point, and she does not want to get a divorce. I think there's a possibility maybe they have an arrangement, and she's like, "Listen, you do your thing. You just keep it tight, and I don't want to see it, and I don't want others to see it either." He's getting sloppy. She's getting pissed, and maybe that's what we're seeing here. So maybe really it's her having an excuse for everything because she has to somehow clean it up, even though she's doing a horrible job at it. I don't know. But again, if she truly doesn't think that she can get divorced, she's a rock on a hard place. It's like, well, an empowered woman would be like, fuck you, bye. But maybe this is really affecting her. But then again, she's been divorced already before. She needs to figure this out. Alicia sides with Brian. I was like, girl, no. Believing it's over and that Rulla shares her superpower of forgiveness. Brian and Rulla drive away. Joellen's final theory: Brian is okay with the mistress acting unhinged because he wants it to drive Rulla to leave him because he's too pussy to leave himself. And I agree with that.
I thought, for my final thoughts, I just could not understand like why they would go back. If I was Rulla, I wouldn't go back to the event.
They might have been contractually obligated because of the show. Who knows? Maybe they saying like, no, you need to come back.
He has
You need to
red
come back
interior in his car, which is very unique. They know everyone in Rhode Island. I just
is
hope
another
that
unique
at the
perspective.
reunion, please leave. I hope whatever she needs to hear to get that, I hope she hears it. Like your kids will find a way, but don't. You were hurting. We could see it all over the whole season. I hope somebody who is close to her who can say those things would say it. I hope someone that she knows and loves is like, this isn't what they meant when they said don't get divorced. Don't actively be with someone who doesn't want to be with you. That's not the persistence we're talking about, you know?
as of present time, if they're still together. And she posted with him one day ago.
Well,
So she
are
hasn't
her
left
eyes
him.
smiling? Not just her face, but are her eyes staged? They just can't say
And
anything
this
to the
is
reunion.
this is her birthday. They were really the reunion's over. They already filmed it.
Oh.
And that was one day ago. I don't foresee the moment that you hope to have in this reunion. I don't think that's going to come true because she's still with him.
Well, in my mind,
or
they have to keep the story going until we see the reunion.
or that's you know what, that's also a very fair point. So you're totally right on that. Maybe I have to keep up this thing, or maybe a bombshell comes out where they're like, we're in an open marriage now, so he can do that, and I'm doing me. Who knows?
Well, because we heard rumors. Remember with Salt Lake City that Bronwyn had left her guy, and then they were posting around Christmas, but it's still. She was like, yeah, they left. So
who knows? Maybe I hope we get some sort of information that I think she has a lot to answer to.
Not that we're hoping for separation of a family, but we're hoping that they get some honesty. Either way, they need it.
That phrase has always altered in my head because no one wishes that upon anyone. Of course not. But I don't wish marriage on people that are with unfaithful or abusive people. So that statement has always, and I've always agreed with it up until maybe the last few years of like, again, maybe growth and growing up. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Does that just mean like in general, like from their wedding day when everything was good? I'm so fiercely like, I can't stand bad behavior in bad men in particular. That I'm just like cheating and all that. I'm like, okay, I think everyone needs to figure out their own journey depending on like whatever how bad was the crime and how much time are they going to serve, I guess.
Yeah.
Was it an affair or they just like fucked somebody or they just make out or whatever. So it depends on like assessing what damage has been done, of course. But in general, it's like bad men have gotten such a pass for the beginning of time. Do what you need to do to protect yourself and your children so that they can have a good example and a good childhood and be raised in a good home that's loving, whether that means it's going to be with a single parent or not. Because I just think about her kids. I'm like,
yeah,
what is your home? Like, what happens behind closed doors? If he's like fucking around on you and with her as much as it seems like he is he not spending time with like your kids? Like, I don't know. There's just so many questions. And I'm like,
there's layers to it.
Figure it out, girl.
We have to know she's thinking about them all somewhere. So show us what your judgment is, Rulla. You show us. We're just meeting you. So show us. You guys, let us know. What did you think about the polo match? What did you think about stumping of the divots? I only know about that from Pretty Woman.
Same.
I know. And yeah, do you want to become a professional fisherman?
I don't, but I'll take the check. Fascinating.
All right, this was fun. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, guys. They are so performative.
Oh, we just lost our power. Yeah, everything just beeped and flashed. But there's no like